Hey, so here I am with the next car that I bought after the Subaru, and it's a BMW 2005 325 Ci, another one. And it's a stick shift. It's got a sport package, some nice M3 wheels on it, and I ended up buying this for $2,100. And I'd actually looked at this when I had the money I bought the Subaru with and was looking at cars. I actually went and looked at this car and made an offer of $2,500, and the guy wouldn't go below $3,000. It had a dent in the rear corner panel, and the door was dented, and the windshield was cracked. The fender had some little dents on it. It was like a couple little dents. I was gonna just leave those, but since I was painting it anyway, I just decided to do them. And the windshield was cracked and the tires were all bald and everything, so I needed like tires and a windshield. And it had about 130,000 miles. And yeah, I went and looked at it before, like months ago. And then when I was looking at cars again, I thought it had sold because the ad went away. I saw it come up again, and he had it listed for more like $3,000. And I emailed him, made him an offer. I don't know, it was probably like $2,300 or something. And then he said, yeah, I just couldn't test drive it. I guess he was like really sick of people test driving his car because he really liked it. And he said somebody almost got in an accident. He'd been trying to sell it for so long, like a year or some shit. He probably had people that just came to joyride it and like weren't even serious about buying it, which I've had that happen before with the 5 Series I was selling. It shit sucks. It's super annoying. People wasting your time. So anyway, I agreed to that. It probably wasn't that good of an idea, but he said he would test drive it for me and I could sit in the car, and he drove the shit out of it when he test drove it, so I could kind of tell like nothing was really wrong with it. And I almost didn't buy it because I called a couple shops with the windshield just to check on the price, because I forgot like the windshield was cracked and stuff when I came and looked at it again. I really didn't notice the first time. But yeah, the first place was quoting me $400, and then I said I didn't want it, and he left, and I called up another place, and they told me $200. So then I called him back, was like, oh no, I'll get it for $2,100, come back. So anyway, a couple other things ended up going wrong after I got it. One thing, the windshield washer pump didn't work. I forgot to check that. It was like a $5 part off eBay. It was really easy to replace. And the thermostat was stuck open, which I didn't see that because it was really hot out on the day I got it. So it has to be colder out. You can't really tell. It was a really hot day. So when it's stuck open, the car will just take forever to heat up. And then if it's colder out, like it'll the temperature will drop a little bit when it's supposed to just stick right in the middle at the same temperature. But that was also, it was like a $60 part, and I'd done it before, so it took me like less than an hour. It was super quick. But then the worst thing was that I couldn't get it smogged. I needed to smog it, and for some reason in California the smog is really stricter than any of the other states where I am. There were a couple of readiness monitors that wouldn't complete, and usually you just drive it to complete them. But he told me the battery hadn't been disconnected at all, and he had no reason to lie to me. I believed him. Like, I texted him after when I was having the problem, and I drove around. I cleared the codes with my reset the computer with my OBD2 scanner, and drove it around a bunch. They still wouldn't complete. It was like a couple of the oxygen sensor codes. So I'm like, fuck, do I need to like replace the oxygen sensors or some shit? I don't want to deal with this on top of all the body work, you know. And then I took it to a shop to get it diagnosed, and it turned out, he said the car was running a tiny bit too lean or a tiny bit rich was the reason it turned out they wouldn't complete. And he said work had been done at a shop before, and they didn't completely reset the computers, which you can't do with a really basic OBD2 scanner. You need like a really nice, expensive computer or scanner that a shop is going to have. It's going to cost, a lot of money. So he just reset those and then drove it around a bunch, and then they finally completed. And man, these cars are fucking picky. And there was still one readiness monitor that wasn't complete, the EVAP, And with these, you have to like leave the car sitting overnight with the right amount of gas in it, and then when you start up in the morning, it'll finally complete. Super annoying. A Mitsubishi I got, I drove like 20 miles and all the readiness monitors were complete. And then it was annoying too, because you can fail one. The evap one you can have uncompleted, and you can still get it passed in California. And I think in other states, even with the two that weren't complete with the problem, it would have passed in other states, but not in California. But anyway, I took it back to the smog guy. Then he told me, yeah, I could pass it with the evap not complete. But he said like the state penalizes him, so then I had to go back to the smog place again. It was super annoying, and that cost me like another $160, and then gas and a bunch of time to get the smog done. And then another thing that cost me extra was so in CA you pay, probably in all the states, you pay sales tax when you buy a car. And in California it's about 10%. Usually before I buy it, I'll ask when we're negotiating, be like, hey, do you care? Well, after this I definitely ask, and I'll be like, hey, do you care what price I put on the title? Because if I put the price down as $500, I only have to pay $50 to get the title changed into my name in fees. Around 50. And with this car, I didn't realize until after I bought it, he'd put the price down already for $2,000, so I ended up having to pay $220 in fees. So there's just like some extra money in there which cut into my profits. But that's why you always want to get a really good as deal as you can, and you always want to anticipate stuff like this happening, so that if shit like this does happen, you're covered. You know, you have that cushion where you can still make a good profit, even if the shit that probably won't go wrong does go wrong. You're good. You can still make a profit, you know. I definitely learned a lot from this, and it took me like 4 months to sell it after I bought it, because it took me so long to do the work. The paint and everything came out pretty nice, especially since I was still learning what I was doing. A lot of the time was just me practicing with the paint gun on like an old hood in my backyard a bunch. Like I probably went through, I don't know, like a gallon of clear coat or something, just practicing, because I didn't want to fuck this up really bad, get a lot of drips or have like nasty orange peel. I wanted it to come out nice, you know. And it did come out pretty nice. I'm really happy with this paint gun that I got. For anyone that wants to know, it's an FLG5. It's a DeVilbiss gun, or it's known as SGK 600 in some other countries. But you can get it on eBay for $140 shipped. And the quality is really nice. Like, I was using these cheap spray guns before and just getting nasty drips and orange peel. Like, even if I got painted thick enough to where it was dripping like crazy, it would still have an ugly ass orange peel. And with this gun, the finish is way nicer. Like, I'm really happy with it. I found out about this paint gun on the Gunman's channel. I should check him out. He's a pro painter, works in body shops and stuff. He's really good. His channel is amazing. He does a lot of paint gun reviews. And he reviewed this one as one of the best ones he thought for the price, because he said you can get as good as a finish as like with a $600 gun. So I ended up buying this, and I'm really happy with it. And it's all Omni brand paint that I use. And what else? Let's see. I ended up selling the car for $4,400 to the first guy that came and looked at it. It took about 2 weeks after I put the ad up to sell it. And I would have liked to get it for a little more, but it was a good price. You know, it needed the tires. I didn't end up buying tires for it. I figured, because the tires would have cost around $500, and I figured even if I had spent that money and put the tires on it, maybe I would have just made my money back, you know. Maybe sold it for $4,900, but yeah, I don't think I would have made an extra profit by having the new tires on it, so I decided not to put them on. And you know, I was pretty happy. I made $1,370 to be exact, actually. So yeah, the new windshield cost me $240 and about $170 in paint. Spent about $70 on Bondo, and then $35 on the little trim pieces on the sides that were broken. So yeah, this yeah, it came out good. I was really happy with the money that I made and everything. and definitely happy that the first guy that came and looked at it bought it. And another thing that was wrong, which I didn't realize, was actually the clutch was bad. And that's another reason why, yeah, it was a bad idea to let somebody else test drive it. Well, they drove it really hard and did like a hard pull, so I thought it was good. Because I had a car that I owned before I didn't flip, the clutch was bad on that, but if I tried to do a burnout, it wouldn't. Like if you revved it up and popped the clutch, it would just slip really bad. So I did that with this car, thinking to test it, and it would burn out. The clutch didn't slip at all. So I thought it was good, you know? And even the guy that bought it from me said he was really worried about the clutch. But I figured he was just saying, I didn't know if he was just saying that, you know, to try to negotiate, because he was definitely like a really hard negotiator, pointing out every little flaw and keep trying to get money off, even after we had agreed on a price. And, but yeah, it turned out, it did slip a little though. If you were in like a higher gear and the RPMs are low and you gave it quite a bit of gas, it would slip a little bit. And I noticed that when I was driving, but I didn't know what it was. And now I know it was definitely the clutch, because the guy texted me a month or two later showing me a picture of the clutch. And luckily he was a guy that works on cars himself. He was like taking classes on repairing cars. He had access to a lift and everything, and he showed me a picture of the old clutch, and it was nasty. It was just thrashed, like totally ruined. So I learned, you know, I learned other ways to test out the clutch and make sure that the clutch is good, because I wouldn't have even bought the car if I had known the clutch was bad like that, to be honest. So yeah, I definitely learned a lot from this one. And yeah, it took me so long to flip this car. They actually bought and sold a car before I was even done with this one, and partly because the weather was really bad, so I had to wait to paint it and everything. And so I bought and sold another car before I sold this one, and you'll see that one in the next video that I do. Anyway, thanks for watching, and it mean a lot to me if you gave, you know, a like, and even more to me if you subscribe. But see you next time.
I get dum-dum with it. Yes! Finally! Woo!
That was perfect.
That was it.
Did you film that?
Yeah, I filmed that one.
Just gotta throw some e-brake.